Freaking gonna read some more today. To be honest, I'm not really feeling it today. Pretty burnt out. Haven't been getting a lot of sleep. Yes, I've been playing RuneScape a lot, and a lot of people on RuneScape just pissing me the hell off. But I love the game, and I don't play for other people who are bank standing to talk shit to me. So, oh man, I'm swearing immediately. Whoops. Sorry about that. But yeah, so we're gonna jump into this. I forget exactly where I stopped yesterday. I think it was page 11, but I think that I didn't get too far into page 11, so I'm gonna start with the first sentence of the paragraph on page 10. Elaine pushed her hand against her belly, probably as empty and as aching as my own. It wasn't that Elaine was cruel. She wasn't like Nesta, who had been born with a sneer on her face. Elaine sometimes just didn't grasp things. It wasn't meanness that kept her from offering to help. It simply never occurred to her that she may be capable of getting her hands dirty. I'd never been able to decide whether she actually didn't understand that we were truly poor, or if she just refused to accept it. It still hadn't stopped me from buying her seeds for the flower garden she tended in the middler months, whenever I could afford it. Alright. Even just that right there was exhausting, to be honest. Yeah, quick rip of the vape. We got white gummy ice. Oh shit. I forgot to turn all that shit on. What do we got for a poll today? Seems like a reasonable question. These are some reasonable answers. And bam. Gonna get some important information. The feedback on that's gonna be very helpful to me. I should drink some Mio. Got a little Mio energy here. Just pop a little in my mouth. Oh, I have a water bottle actually. I don't want to drink too much because I'd like to get some sleep tonight, but RuneScape makes it freaking hard, to be real. I don't know. Yesterday I blasted out those 11 pages. And I feel like I didn't mess it up that much. But here we are, a paragraph in, and I am feeling tired. I want to play RuneScape too. I got a Necriel task. Necriels are freaking money printers, let me tell you. Alright, get back into this. And it hadn't stopped her from buying me 3 small pints of paint, red, yellow, and blue. During the same summer, I had enough to buy the ash arrow. It was the only gift she'd ever given me, and our house still bore the marks of it. Even if the paint was now fading and chipped, little veins and flowers along the windows and thresholds and edges of things, tiny curls of flame, and the stones bordering the hearth. Any spared minutes I'd had that bountiful summer, I used to bedeck our house in colors. Something hiding clever decorations inside drawers, behind the threadbare curtains, underneath the chairs and table. We hadn't had a summer that easy since. Fair! My father's deep rumble came from the fire. His dark beard was neatly trimmed, his face spotless like my sister's. That's weird. Oh, got some Snuggies dripping out. Hold on a second. Ugh. This desert air be fucking me up. Where were we? Oh yeah. His dark beard was neatly trimmed, his face spotless, like my sister's. What luck you have today in bringing such a feast. From beside my father, Nesta snorted. Not surprising. Any bit of praise for anyone, me, Elaine, other villagers, usually resulted in her dismissal. And any word from our father usually resulted in her ridicule as well. I straightened, almost too tired to stand, but braced a hand on the table beside the dough as I shot Nesta a glare. Of us, Nesta had taken the loss of our fortune the hardest. She had quietly resented my father from the moment we'd fled our manor. Even after that awful day, one of the creditors had come to show just how displeased he was at the loss of his investment. But at least Nesta didn't fill our head with useless talks of regaining our wealth like father. No. She just spent whatever money I didn't hide from her and rarely bothered to acknowledge my father's limping presence at all. Some days, I couldn't tell which of us was most wretched and bitter. I'm probably the most wretched and bitter at the moment. Little nose hit for Jesus. Back to it. We can eat half the meat this week, I said, shifting my gaze to the dough. The deer took up the entirety of the rickety table that served as our dining area, workspace, and kitchen. We can dry the other half. I went on, knowing that no matter how nicely I phrase it, I'd still do the bulk of it. And I'll go to market tomorrow to see how much I can get for the hides. I finished. More to myself than to them. No one bothered to confirm they'd heard me anyway. Oh, I talked to like one of the dude who freaking runs the group that I was in today. Read this book. He said it's really slow to get into, but whatever. I'm just gonna keep on keeping on with it. Where was I? My father's ruined leg was stretched out before him, as close to the fire's heat as it could get. The cold or the rain or a change in temperature always aggravated the vicious, twisted wounds around his knee. His simply carved cane was propped up against his chair, a cane he'd made for himself, and that Nesta was sometimes prone to leaving far out of his reach. He could find work if he wasn't so ashamed, Nesta always said when I hissed about it. She hated him for the injury, too. For not fighting back when the creditor and his thugs had burst into the cottage and smashed his knee again and again. Wow, that's foul. Nesta and Elaine had fled into the bedroom, barricading the door. I had stayed, begging and weeping through every scream of my father, every crunch of bone. I'd soiled myself, and then vomited right on the stones before the hearth. Only then did the men leave. We never saw them again. Well, yeah, how the hell are you gonna pay it back with a busted up knee? Why don't you just sell the manor? I don't know. I'm speculating a lot, I guess. We'd used a massive chunk of our remaining money. Remaining money? They had money to pay for a healer. They had money to pay for a healer, but they didn't have enough money to pay for him to not get his knee exploded. That don't make a lot of sense. It had taken my father 6 months to even walk, a year before he could go a mile. The coppers he brought in when someone pitied him enough to buy his wood carvings weren't enough to keep us fed. 5 years ago, when the money was well and truly gone, when my father still wouldn't move much about, he hadn't argued when I announced that I was going hunting. He hadn't even bothered to attempt to stand from his seat by the fire, hadn't bothered to look up at me from his wood carvings. He just let me walk into those deadly, eerie woods that even the most seasoned hunters were weary of. He'd become a little more aware now. Sometimes offered signs of gratitude, sometimes hobbled all the way into town to sell his carvings, but not much. "I'd love a new cloak," Elaine said at the last with a sigh. At the same moment, Nesta rose and declared, "I need a new pair of boots." What a dumb bitch. I kept quiet, knowing better than to get myself in the middle of one of their arguments, but I glanced at Nesta's still shiny pair by the door. Beside her, my 2 small boots were falling apart at the seam, held together only by fraying laces. "But I'm freezing with my raggedy old cloak," Elaine pleaded. "I'll shiver to death." She fixed her wide eyes on me and said, "Please, fair." She drew out the 2 syllables of my name, Feyre. Whoa, that's good. Now I know how to pronounce that. I wouldn't have assumed it was Feyre. Reading it, it's Feyre. Thought that was Feyre, not Feyre. It must be a I don't even know. Like, it's has specific names, specific countries, and this country isn't real. So, enunciation for a fake country. Into the most hideous whine I'd ever endured, and Nesta loudly clicked her tongue before ordering her to shut up. I drowned them out as they began quarreling over who would get the money the hide would fetch tomorrow, and found my father now standing at the table, one hand braced against it to support his weight as he inspected the deer. His attention slid to the giant wolf pelt. His fingers slid smooth and gentlemanly, turned over the pelt and traced a line through the bloody underside. I tensed. His dark eyes flicked to mine. "Feyre," he murmured. In his mouth became a tight line. "Where did you get this?" "The same place I got the deer," I replied with quite equal quiet, my words cool and sharp. His gaze traveled over the bow and quiver strapped to my back, in the wooden hilted hunting knife at my side. His eyes turned damp. "Feyre, the risk." I jerked my chin at the pelt, unable to keep the snap from my voice as I said, "I had no other choice." What I really wanted to say was, "You don't even bother to attempt to leave the house most days. Were it not for me, we would starve. Were it not for me, we'd be dead." "Feyre," he repeated and closed his eyes. My sisters had gone quiet, and I looked up in time to see Nesta crinkle her nose with a sniff. She picked at my cloak. You stink like a pig covered in its own filth. Can't you at least try to pretend that you're not an ignorant peasant? Wow. Foul. I didn't let the sting and ache show. I'd been too young to learn more than basics of manners in reading and writing when our family had fallen into misfortune, and she'd never let me forget it. She stepped back to run her finger over the braided coils of her golden brown hair. Take those disgusting clothes off. I took my time, swallowing the words I wanted to bark back at her. Older than me by 3 years, she somehow looked younger than I did, her golden cheeks always flushed with a delicate, vibrant pink. Can you make a hot pot of water and add wood to the fire? But even as I asked, I noticed the wood. Jesus, I'm slipping a bit here. We'll tap off this guy. I don't think I'm gonna make it double the pages today. We're still banging some out, so that's what's important. But even as I asked, I noticed the wood pile. There were only 5 logs left. I thought you were going to chop wood today. Nesta picked at her long, neat nails. I hate chopping wood. I always get splinters. She glanced up from beneath her dark lashes. Of all of us, Nesta looked the most like our mother, especially when she wanted something. Besides, Feyre, she said with a pout, you're so much better at it. It takes half the time it takes me. Your hands are suited for it. They're already so rough. My jaw clenched. Please, I asked, calming my breath, knowing an argument was the last thing I needed or wanted. Please get up at dawn and chop the wood. I unbuttoned the top of my tunic, or we'll be eating a cold breakfast. Her brows narrowed. I will do no such thing. But I was already walking toward the small second room where my sisters and I slept. Elaine murmured a soft plea to Nesta, which earned her a hiss in response. I glanced over my shoulder at my father and pointed to the deer. Get the knives ready, I said, not bothering to sound pleasant. I'll be out soon. Without waiting for an answer, I shut the door behind me. Oh, man. Jeez. Okay, so there's like a thing right here. I'm going to read down to that, and then I'm going to call it. Because I'm freaking exhausted, and this is low-key more exhausting than you would think to do. The room was large enough for a rickety dresser and the enormous ironwood bed we slept in, the sole remnant of our former wealth. It had been ordered as a wedding gift from my father to my mother. It was the bed in which we'd been born, in the bed in which our mother had died. In all the painting I'd done to our house with the past few years, I'd never touched it. I slung off my outer clothes onto the sagging dresser, frowning at the violet roses I'd painted around the knobs of Elaine's dresser, the crackling flames I'd painted around Nesta's. In the night sky, whirls of yellow stars standing in 4 white around mine. I'd done it to brighten the otherwise dark room. They never commented on it. I don't know why I'd ever expect them to. Groaning, it was all I could do to keep from collapsing onto the bed. Alright, so we're going to stop here where this little X thing is. Yeah, I don't know why. I'm freaking mega spent. I was hoping I'd get more reading pages done today, but I think it's like a workout to do this. So I'll do it some more, and then I'll take a break for like a day. We'll probably do Mondays. I'll take a break because I have stuff to do Monday nights, and then I might actually have to take a break Friday too. So I think we do it a little bit and then take a break and come back stronger. That's how learning and strengthening things generally works. So I'm looking forward to that, and I'm looking forward to ending my Necriel task. Um, I feel like I should make this last at least 30 minutes, but I was mainly just doing the reading, and this is mostly just for replays. So if you're watching this and you enjoyed the couple pages I did read, appreciate you. And yeah, so I'm gonna get back to my task. Might camp Sarachnis a little bit tonight. I got like 90 Sarachnis kills last night, which was pretty exhausting. Pretty fun too, though. Getting closer to the pet. I thought that the pet was I thought the pet was 1 in 1,000. It's 1 in 3,000. But we're gonna keep at it. So yeah, I'm gonna go get back to my Slayer grind, and we'll be back tomorrow. I'll try to get more pages. Honestly, I've been getting more tired and tired, so it'll probably be less pages. But we're getting stronger. Then we'll take a break and come back even harder. I think Friday take a break. Saturday should come back raring, ready to get a lot of the pages done. So yeah, I'll be back tomorrow, similar time. Have a good freaking day.